probably help if I had my microphone. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bone Zone. I'm your host, Sidechusk here, bringing you the next part in the Pokemon tier list that we are doing. Excuse me. Last we left off, we had completed Gen 1. So in order to kind of go back over, because I think there was something wrong with the audio last time, so we're just going to go over the tiers real quick. So from top to bottom, we have best buds. These are the ones that like you're just going to want to spend time with, or they just do so much for you, and they're definitely above and beyond like friends or squishables. Friends and squishables are things that either are like really good plushes or you just like to have around. Not necessarily like practical, but just generally good to have. Like some of these are like cuddly, or like the Geodudes here are like the cool rocks that some people keep on their desk. Um, we have the Sorticools, which are just like design wise they're good, or strength wise they're good, or just in some way, shape, or form. Even nostalgia in that sense. Give me one second. Then we have the kind of exists. Kind of exists are the ones where you ask the question, should these exist? And it leans closer to yes than no. So like the most kind of just exists but has to exist is like Pikachu, for example. Like it's literally carried the franchise on its back just in marketing alone. Um, but like there's some other reasons why like these just should exist. Sometimes it's like for like the Paris and Parasect example, um, it's not a matter of they should exist. It's a way of it's a matter of they like if they had another chance to go back and try it again, I think they could definitely do better. Then we have below that the shouldn't exist, where you ask the question, should these exist? And the answer is probably not. And then lastly, ones that I would seismic toss into space. These should not exist. They should not exist in any way, shape, or form. There's no good reason for them to exist. And you will not convince me otherwise. So before we actually start with Generation 2, were actually 4 Pokemon, or at least in this case, forms of Pokemon that I missed. And so we're just going to go over those real quick before we start on Gen 2. So the first one is Gigantamax Meowth. Gigantamax Meowth, I think, is kind of funny. I think it's cool. It's definitely not a friend. Definitely not going to squish it. Definitely not a best bud. So it's definitely sort of cool. I think it's cooler than a Alolan Exeggutor, but definitely not cooler than Rhyhorn. Next, we have Mega Pinsir. Definitely in the cool, sort of cool pile. Hmm. I think I like it more than regular Exeggutor. Not as much as Mega Gengar though. Next we have Gigantamax Lapras, which I actually think is a little bit better than regular Lapras because it literally has like a giant Like it almost resembles like a ship on the back, on its back. That, and it has an aurora borealis around it at all times, so it's kind of cool. And then this should be of no surprise. Mega Aerodactyl is the current top of sort of cool because it is Aerodactyl but cooler. All right. So, starting off with Gen 2, we have Chikorita. Chikorita is a very squishable Pokemon. Definitely more than Staryu and Starmie. More than Alolan Vulpix. More than Cubone. I don't think more than regular Vulpix, though. Because if I was told I get to, like, take a nap, and was told I could take a nap with a Pokemon between Vulpix and Chikorita, I'm going to be picking Vulpix. Definitely makes a great plush, though. Bayleaf, I think, is also a friend. I think it's also squishable. I think it's in this tier. And just like it, if I recall from its Pokédex entry, it's like, or one of them anyway, it's like it does aromatherapy with the buds on its neck. Or either that or it's like tea leaves or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it's something on that lines. I would definitely want to hang out with it more than Squirtle. Probably not. Or I would probably want to like be friends with it more than Squirtle. Probably not more than Slowpoke though. Meganium. Meganium is kind of cool, but probably would trigger my seasonal allergies. So definitely not something I want to do that, like spend a day just taking a nap with. I think trying to think. I think Meganium has to go in between the long boys. Because I like it more than Alolan Executor. Just because of how goofy it is. But at the same time, I appreciate the joke that Gigantamax Meowth does a lot more. Cyndaquil's a friend. Cyndaquil is a huggable friend, a lovable friend. He just goes up there. Quilava up there too. Just not as comfortable, I would say, because it's kind of like Cyndaquil's that nice little warm blanket you get on a cold night. Quilava is like if you have 4 of them and you're starting to roast. Don't get me wrong, you're still comfy, but you're a little too warm. Typhlosion. I like Typhlosion more than any Charizard form. But I would definitely not want to squish it. Too warm, too hot. Hisuian Typhlosion is super rad, super friend, super chill. Way up here. Best bud tier. Like, turning it into a ghostly flame means, like, they can shut it off a lot better. Or even make it so that it doesn't affect you. And he just has a lot more of a chiller vibe than his normal brother here. Oop. Oh, where did Totodile? Oh, sorry, Totodile kind of escaped on me here. Totodile, I think, is the first base form starter that's actually not going to go up into the friend and squishable tier. This thing, like, you go to hug it, it's going to bite you. You go to snuggle with it, it's going to bite you. You try to be a friend to it, it's going to bite you. It's very consistent with what it does. And I applaud it for that. So it's going to go in the sort of cool tier. But just, it's definitely not going to go above and beyond into the friends. Croconaw is this, but it's bigger, and it has a Yabba Dabba Doo egg style print on its belly. I think it's not as great. I think I like Croconaw more than Arbok. And I think maybe Totodile is a little too high. Yeah, I definitely like Totodile more than Wartortle. Feraligatr. Feraligatr is pretty badass. I think he sits there. I definitely appreciate it and its design and what it's going for. And I appreciate that more than Pinsir, than Mega Pinsir. Okay. Furret and Sentret. There's no other. Well, Sentret, definitely squishable friend. Furret's a friend. I think Furret's a better friend than Eevee. And that says quite a bit. Because Eevee is like the poster child of friend. Hoot Hoot. I think I would be okay with, like, taking a nap with a Hoot Hoot. I think it'd be fuzzy enough or feathery enough. I think it'd be nice. Noctowl kind of exists. It's just, it takes the neat concept of Hoot Hoot and just throws out the window in favor of just an owl. Ladybug kind of exists. I actually don't mind Ledian. I just wish its stat, like, it did more. Just, like, the concept of it, like, being a punch ladybug is kind of cool. I just wish they did more with it. Like, even its stats are a joke. Like, come on, Nintendo. You give our boy Butterfree an actual stat boost, but not Ledian. Spinarak, I think is actually kind of cool. How cool do I think it is? Definitely better than Croconaw. I think right there. I think the most endearing part of Spinarak is its butt is always a mood. Like, it can make its face change to, like, a pouty face or a happy face. Like, either way, it's just a mood. Come on, get down. No, get down. Sorry about that. Gyarados kind of loses that funny butt meme thing. Still definitely like it more than Croconaw. Very disappointed by the fact that, like, it's kind of in a Ledian case where its stats are also kind of bad, but I at least like the design more. Crobat. Crobat is by default in the best bud tier because it's literally how you get it. I think it's the low right now. It's the lowest of best bud tier solely because like you get it through it being your best bud, but once it's your best bud, it just does the normal stuff it always does. Which, because like I don't like even when I don't think there's any really like it has like tiny feet near the bottom, but that's about it. Like it doesn't. It does. I don't know what it can do. Chinchou. I think Chinchou is kind of cool, but like I think it's cool enough to not be in kind of just exists because it's not a jellyfish. It's supposed to be like an anglerfish, but it's a cooler design of an anglerfish. Lantern, Lantern's a friend. I think Lantern should go there. I don't think you're going to. You're definitely not going to touch slash squish slash take a nap with Lantern because zap zap. But it's definitely going to be very friendly towards you. Pichu. Like, it's baby Pikachu. That, what else can I say? So, a little unfortunate news. Well, actually, before I go on, I think Pichu actually should just be somewhere in here. Because unfortunately, these baby Pokemon, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan. So it's just very mediocre to me. There are very, very rare exceptions, but we'll get to those when we come across them. Togepi literally is like take a nap with best friend simulator. Togetic. You get it from friendship, but I think he does more. Like he can help you out a lot more. Not like in battle, of course, but like just everyday life. Like if you're like if you're like taking groceries in, this thing's going to help you. Whereas Crobat's going to struggle. Not to say that Crobat wouldn't have ways to do it, but it'd have a bit more difficult time. Natu exists. Xatu also exists. Mareep is a friend because it is an electric Pokemon that won't intentionally shock you. Fluffy is just below it because there's less fur or less wool to kind of chill out with. And then the Ampharos in the cool tier because you're not going to take a nap with this thing. Well, actually, no. I'd say it's a friend. I'd say a little bit less of a friend than Lantern would be, but definitely a friend. And then Mega Ampharos is if Ampharos ended up taking a surprise modeling career, so it's probably not going to be focused. It's not probably going to talk to you all that much. So it's going to not be as much of a friend anymore. So it's kind of cool. Blossom. If I can get this thing to move properly. Blossom, you're gonna take a nap with. Definitely take a nap. Meryl kind of exists. It's Bluichu. Actually, I don't think it should exist. I'm gonna say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't think it's as heinous as a lot of these. This one's a little more heinous. Because it's just make it tall, stretch it out. Sudowoodo. I admire Sudowoodo's design. I think I like Sudowoodo. No. Sudowoodo more than Arbok. Politoed is really rad. He is what Poliwrath could not be. But that's as far as he'll go. Hoppip. The problem with Hoppip is, like, it is definitely something you're going to, like, be a friend with, or, like, just take a nap with, or squish, like a plushie. But, like, the problem of it is a simple breeze, and it's gone. That being said, I still think it's going to be high tier. In high, well, I guess I shouldn't say high. Mid. This entire line, it's just going to... I think the only exception is Jumpluff, which is weird, but solely because it has, like, the cotton ends, and it's just going to make me sneeze. Aipom is a monkey. I like... Monkeys are fine. Mankey's a better monkey. Sunkern kind of also exists. It's a seed. It is the worst stats in all of Pokemon. I actually like it better than Sunflora, though. Yanma is really cool. Gen 2 through Gen 2 and 3, it doesn't have much. I'll say that much, but I think I like it more than Meganium. Wooper is a friend. So much of a friend. I like it more than Bulbasaur itself. Paldean Wooper is Wooper that is just having a bit of a cough. Quagsire. Oh man, this guy's going to go up there. This guy is so rad. He's going to chill out. He's going to chill out more than even Hisuian Typhlosion. Okay. Espeon. I don't know, because I mean, I get it that it's like a psychic cat, but, like, I don't think it actually is that fluff. I think it's just like a short hair. So I think it actually stumbles down to cool. No, I think I like Espeon more than Omanyte. And then, because I am secretly edgy by heart, or maybe not, depending on if you know me, Umbreon is going to go way above Espeon here. I actually like Murkrow. Kind of sucks that, like, he gets shit on from Gen 2 and 3. Gen 4, obviously, he kind of glows up, but, like, it's not by much. Still enough to make me actually like it more than Alolan Ninetales. Slowking, I kind of get the idea, but like, and I think it's cool, but I've never been like big into like the water type. I think I think the Galarian, or sorry, yeah, the Galarian Slowking is fine. It should exist. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. I think it's cooler than Xatu. Misdreavus is cool. Ghost types generally are gonna go up there. I actually like Misdreavus more than Ghastly. Why do we have an alphabet? Like, literally, actually, why do we have an alphabet? To me, like, the concept of unknown does not make sense to me. Like, why did they have to make an alphabet out of Pokemon? Why not exists? I think the idea of it's fine, which means it's not enough to go down here, but it's pretty low. I'd say there. Girafarig, I'd say is also there, but I think its design's a bit better. Pineco is a sentient Pineco, which is more to say than a sentient pile of eggs. Fortress is a little better though, but not by much. I think there. I think the only reason that kind of like redeems Fortress in my eyes is just how much Fortress in any playthrough of like Pokemon Colosseum, this thing has like pulled me out of problems. It's just that versatile. Dunsparce, I don't think it should exist because it's a legend. It's based off a mythology thing, but like it's not. It's like a joke version of it. And also, why does it have a drilled for a tail? No one has explained this to me, and I don't think anyone ever will. Gligar is cool. How cool? I definitely like it more than Totodile. I like it more than yeah, more than Onyx, more than Machoke. Ooh, ooh, I think Gligar's scaling up really quickly. I think this is where it becomes difficult. Mm, I think that's where it has to stop. Like I definitely think Rhyhorn is cooler conceptually, statistically, in every sense of the word. That, and I think the only thing that stops Gligar from going higher is it like this is basing it off the Gen 2 and 3 versions of it. Gen 4 obviously like it has a much stronger case. Steelix is really fucking cool. Talk about promotion of the century. This guy said, I'm a laughing stock of a rock snake, so I'm gonna go metal as hell. Mega Steelix is cool. I think it's just more Steelix but with more pointy bits, but I think it's still cool as it is. That and the floating bits that circle around it are cool. Snubbull exists. I liked it better when it was a normal type instead of a fairy type. At me. Or don't. That's your call. I'm still not going to change my opinion on that. I like Granbull more. Qwilfish exists. How exists. This exists. I think Hisuian Qwilfish should have been what regular Qwilfish should have been. Like, I think if you replaced, like, went back in time, showed Game Freak Hisuian Qwilfish, took the Hisuian off, I think they would have run with that instead of regular Qwilfish. Straight up. Scizor. Welcome to the more badass Scyther. This is a generation where there's a few promotions. Mega Scizor. Sadly, I don't actually like as much. I think it's just kind of too clunky design. Shuckle's a meme. I don't even know what it's based off, so I can't really put it into the sort of cool spot. Heracross is cool. How cool. Do I like now? I think I like Heracross more than Mega Ampharos. Mega Heracross. I think I actually like regular Heracross more. Sneasel is cool. Kind of an underdog, though, until Generation 4. Yeah, that sounds right. I don't quite understand the reasoning for, like, the difference between Hisuian and regular Sneasler as far as design goes. Typing wise, obviously I know the difference, but like until I get explained to that, it's gonna go here. Teddiursa is going to go all the way up here. Now, mind you, for people who don't know, Gen 2 is my favorite, so to put a lot of these in various different places is kind of interesting. Ursaring. It's a bear. By default, that's going to be cool. So this is going to be weird, but I actually like Slugma. Quite a bit. Not because of power, because it's really bad, power-wise, but just the design of it. Like, Lava Snail and Lava Slug. I think it's really cool design-wise. Swinub, we're going to put you up in the friend tier, because that's a friend. I'd say more than Seal. Piloswine is really cool. I'd say that cool. Oh shit, did we forget my boy Corsola? My regular Corsola boy? Here, let's remedy that real quick. Yeah, I didn't get regular Corsola. Huh, neat. Whoops. We're gonna go normal. We're gonna go edit. Choose a file. Corsola. Okay. Corsola, I think, is kind of neat. I like its design better than Psyduck himself. I appreciate the design for Galarian Corsola more. Well, actually, no, not more. Solely because it's a sad representation of reality. And also, I should be in presentation mode. There we go. Remoraid is a fish that is a gun. Right there. Octillery is an octopus that is artillery. Delibird is a friend. Not a good friend, though. Mantine kind of exists for me there. Skarmory is cool. Cool. I like Skarmory that much. Houndour is definitely not going to be in the friend tier because it's going to be a little pissant that just messes up your day. That being said, I like it more than Alolan Ninetales. And the subsequent Houndooms are as such. Kingdra, I think, is cool. I think it's a neat idea to kind of just upgrade. It's another promotion. Yeah, I'd say there. Donphan normally has been kind of just mediocre to me. However, because of the Paradox forms and Scarlet Violet, it's made me kind of look in perspective. So, I think it should exist. I think it's a little higher than I normally would have done, but I think it's gone up quite a bit. Porygon 2, I don't like as much as Porygon 1 because I like the rigid design of Porygon 1. I appreciate it's very much right behind Porygon because I appreciate the fact that it's a nod to the little bird thing that dips its head in the water and then it pokes back out. Stantler exists. It could be better. Smeargle, why do you exist? Because we need a painting Pokemon. That's a fair argument. And I think you should exist more than Farfetch. Tyrogue. It's kind of low tier, to be honest. I do like it more than Machop, though. Hitmontop. Yo. Hitmontop. He is busting down. Smoochum shouldn't exist. It shouldn't. Elekid is actually kind of cool. I appreciate the plug design quite a bit. Should it be more than crabs? Probably not. Probably not. No. I like it more than Gigantamax Machamp. Magby is great. Is a cool idea on paper. Practice was not great though. I think it's. There we go. Miltank needs a retread. Blissey. I mean, other than like the frills and the curly hair, what actually has changed from Chansey to Blissey design wise? Like, is it supposed to be like a fully matured mother or something? Or like, I don't quite get that. Alright, we're getting into some legends. Raikou exists, should exist. is cool. Not as cool as Zapdos in my eyes. But definitely cooler than Mischievous. Entei. I think it's also cool. I think the dogs have, in the sense of like their design, I think they're fine. Suicune is the least because again, I'm not one of those water boys. Larvitar is a sassy bitch, but he's a good friend. He's gonna be like if you go at like 2 a.m. and you're like I want to eat all of the nuggets. He's gonna be the friend that's gonna help you do that. Problem is he's going to pass out and you're the one driving. So I would say I would definitely have him more than a dude that has a cold. Pupitar exists, kind of just exists, kind of has to exist. It's a lot of the mid forms are going to be here just because they have to in some way, shape, or form. He's going to be a lot higher on the tier list because let's say right there. Because leading to actual best boy Tyranitar. This is 100% biased, and I am not apologizing for that. Tyranitar is best spud solely because he is everything you want him to be. He's a friend. He will help you with whatever. If it's carrying something, sure. If it's terrorizing other people, sure. If it's just being something to lay on, sure. Need a change in weather? Sure. Tyranitar's got it all. And on top of that, it's based off Godzilla. And the funny thing is I'm a really big fan of that, but I'm not actually a Godzilla fan. One thing I will say though, Mega Tyranitar is not as much of a friend. Mega Tyranitar is just having a rough patch. But once he's done with that, he's back to being your best bud. Lugia has it's a legend, so it's gonna be cool based off the legend idea, but like he's a big thing that I can't even say he's a bird. Because I mean yeah, he's flying type, but like it's not actually a bird. He doesn't actually have wings. He has giant hands. So it's like comically funny. I definitely like it more than Galarian Articuno. But that's it. Ho-Oh is a great design. It can't go above Mewtwo. It's not strong enough for that. But it's a great design. And also technically one of the very few Pokemon in the first episode of the anime, if you don't know that. So it was debuted before it technically existed. Celebi. Celebi's a friend. Celebi's definitely a friend. Celebi is going to help you through sometimes, but it's not best bud. Because there's times where it needs to be by itself. So one thing to note, we are doing the Paradox forms. Because they are still technically that Pokemon, just from a different time period. But we are rating them as that Paradox form. So, Great Tusk. I think it's a cool design. However, one thing I will definitely note, because I'm going to put him right about the middle, sort of cool, is I'm not a big fan of like the prehistorics rather than like I prefer the actual like futuristic versions and stuff. Scream Tail is definitely not a best bud. Well, I think it's like in a vein of like Totodile where like you squish it, it will bite you. But the difference between Totodile is Scream Tail has a chance to to bite you if you hug it, which puts it lower on the friend tier in the squish, but it's definitely squishable, and it's only a chance, so it's not always. Mischievous form of Fluttermane is cool. I don't quite grasp like a prehistoric ghost thing, but it's cool nonetheless. I don't like it more than regular Mischievous. I don't like it more than Mischievous, but definitely more than Ghastly. I gotta say it. Sandy Shocks, why do you exist? I don't think it should exist. There's more worse offenders, for sure. But just like it's Magneton, but like with a punk aesthetic and two really long magnets. Iron Treads, I kind of dig the fact that like its treads light up depending on like what it's doing. So like if it rolls out, the red part of it just goes away, and how it folds into itself is kind of cool. And obviously people are like, I don't get the future, but like it's kind of like if like as Pokemon kind of evolved, it's like evolved into a more, I don't want to say cybernetic, but like because like obviously you can't air quotes can't evolve into like a mechanical state, but like imagine if like somebody in the future, and this is kind of a fucked up kind of concept, but it's something you would have to consider, is like if someone experimented, because I mean there is such like lead tos in Pokemon, but like some people like experimenting on Pokemon to like give them mechanical enhancements. I mean obviously you have like Steelix and Scizor where it's like, oh, they got a metal coat in it, but like that's like they were given an item, and through trading in the apparently a unique energy through that, it caused them to evolve. No, I'm talking about like Pokemon that like have become straight up new species, not through trade or anything of that nature, but just straight up modifications, heavy enough to change it to a new Pokemon. Now you might think that I'm leading into that's what this is. No, I think it's the descendant of said Pokemon. So I think the fact that this like something was born from a mechanical Pokemon, like a mechanically enhanced Pokemon, and it just Pokemon have evolved into it, I think it's kind of cool. I don't think it's high enough. I think there. Iron Bundle is, this one's gonna be a why does it exist? I think it's okay to exist more than like Sandy Shocks, because Sandy Shocks is just terrible. But like this guy, I think he's okay. I don't think he should exist, but I think he's a little less offensive than Sandy Shocks. Iron Thorns is cool. Well, I think it's possibly better than Mega T-Tar. I don't think it goes to friend because it's a robot, and friend robots typically can't be friends, in the sense of just you have to have a very smart robot, and this is definitely not a smart robot. The only, and obviously like a nod to Mecha Godzilla, which again is cool in concept. I'm not a big Godzilla person, but I still think that's kind of cool. The part that gets me though, I wish it was a better name, like Iron Thorns. Thorns makes me think it's a grass type, not a spiky Pokemon. well, I mean, obviously spikes, thorns, they go hand in hand, but like, if you say spikes, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, iron spikes. I get it. That's totally like a mecha T-tar. But like iron thorns, I'm gonna think, oh, that's like a mechanical Roserade or something of that nature, but not T-tar. I think the name should be like iron spikes. Anyway, waking wave or walking wave, whatever. I think this thing's doofy. I think it's okay to exist more than, yeah, I'd say more than those two. And raging bolt. God, this thing is so silly. But I think like the fact that it's like a cloud raised up, I think that's fine. All right, and I think that's going to be the tier list for this week. Um, so we'll go over just real quick. Best buds, squishable friends, sorta cools, kind of exists, shouldn't exist, need to just perish. And with that, I think we're going to end the stream there. I know it's a bit early, but we kind of blazed through that a little bit. We'll definitely pick up next week for sure. Same time. You can always check out my channel here for the live stuff, or you can always check out my YouTube channel up there, same name. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next time.